want to preface today's show by saying right off the bat, I think Matthew Golden is going to be a star. I cannot wait to watch him, even if he is wearing that number 22, which I don't think looks very good for a wide receiver in my opinion, but regardless, I'm so excited to watch him in this offense. I think he's going to have a wonderful rookie year, and I think he's going to have a long and successful career right here in Green Bay. Unfortunately, some people don't necessarily think so. Everything we're talking about today is research done by somebody else, conclusions drawn by somebody else. I'm just bringing it to light, and we're just going to have a one-on-one back-and-forth discussion on today's show. But I need you to prove it for me in the comment section down below. Do you think Matthew Golden is going to be a star in the NFL? Do you agree with me? If you do me one big favor and cast your vote. Prove it to me by liking today's video. Alrighty, the concerning news we're talking about today is, unfortunately, Matthew Golden has a 53.2 SPS. SPS stands for Star Predictor Score, and if you know anything about anything when it comes to academics, a 53.2, that's not that great of a grade. Brady Ballers, they're the ones who do all the testing, all the analytics, all of that stuff. They tweeted this out right after the draft. 53.2 Star Predictor Score grade, which ranks 161st out of 897 wide receivers since 2003. So you might be watching and asking, Joey, what is SPS? Well, great question, first of all. I'd love to explain it. It was built as a scouting tool aimed at maximizing investment potential while minimizing risk when drafting rookies in fantasy football. So it turned out, in the beginning, kind of just one of those things that they did research on for people drafting players in fantasy football. But the longer and longer they've done it, the more success they've seen it actually turn out on the football field itself, not just in fantasy. So let's talk about what they look like, or look at, with the Brady Ballers, the people who do all of this data and all these analytics. They look at any quarterbacks picked from 1 through 60. So basically, first 2 rounds. Any running backs picked from rounds 1 through 3. Wide receivers, 1 through 3. Tight ends, rounds 1 through 3. So they only look at skill position players, and they only look at skill position players that are selected in the first 3 rounds of the draft. And they've been doing this for a very, very long time. In fact, if you look at their top 10 all-time SPS rankings, it's a pretty good list. Calvin Johnson, number 1. Amari Cooper, number 2. Then Larry Fitzgerald, CeeDee Lamb, Jordan Jefferson, Mike Evans, DeAndre Hopkins, Juju Smith-Schuster, Jackson Smith-Njigba, and A.J. Brown. And if I look at that list, honestly, I'm seeing 5 to 7 Hall of Famers. Jack, do you mind pulling it up again to my right so we can kind of talk through that list of people on it? But Calvin Johnson, Hall of Famer. Larry Fitzgerald, Hall of Famer. Justin Jefferson, if his career kind of continues to go the trajectory it's gone, Hall of Famer. Mike Evans, probably a Hall of Famer. D-Hop, probably, maybe. And then I think like CeeDee Lamb and A.J. Brown are going to be toss-ups. Juju's not in the Hall. Amari Cooper, probably not. Jackson Smith-Njigba, who knows? He could turn it on. He might be as well. But like they've done really well with their top 10. And again, I want to reiterate this. I'm going to remind you this a ton. I'm not saying that because of his Star Predictor Score being a 53.2 that I'm losing faith in Golden. I'm just saying because of this, I guess, what would you call this? Data, their success rate with this website, with their analytical testing, it is a little bit concerning. If you look at the top 10, coincidentally, 2 from the 2025 draft have made it in that top 10 or top 11. Calvin Johnson falls right behind Ashton Jeanty and Jackson Dart. Kyle Pitts was really, really high. He hasn't necessarily turned out to be anything anybody thought he would, but then they rattle off Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, just won a Super Bowl, Ben Roethlisberger, Matt Forte, Patrick Mahomes, all of those players which have had very, very successful careers, and they're not even done yet. And then you look at the bottom 10, and they're kind of doing well from both sides. Dominic Byrd, Luke Stocker, George Wrightster, Roscoe Parrish, Trey McKinney, Tyler Croft, Richard Rodgers, Owen Daniels, Craig Stevens, David Thomas. All that to say, a bunch of people you probably have never heard of in your entire life. And they're very low on this test. And speaking of being low on that test, Savion Williams, another player That didn't score too well. A 39.5 star predictor score grade, SPS, which ranks 427th out of 897 wide receivers since 2003. So coming up, I'm going to try to build your trust back, build your excitement back, because I got a lot of reasons why both of them are going to excel in the National Football League. Okay, I don't expect just big things from Matthew Golden. I expect them from Savion Williams as well. But before that, I want to hear from you guys. Who do you think out of those two players is going to have the better career? Is it Golden or is it Williams? If you think it's Matthew Golden, like today's video, cast your vote in that way. And if you think it's Savion Williams, go ahead and comment down below. We're going to start with Matthew Golden. I just want to go off the top and say I love just how dynamic Matthew Golden is, okay? And I'm not just saying dynamic in the fact that he can do a lot of things on the football field, like you can line him up in a lot of places. I'm saying dynamic because his route tree is incredibly vast. And he has a lot of success running a lot of different routes. Here he is in 2024 with the Texas Longhorns. This is his success by route in 2024. A lot of green on that list. A lot of green on that graphic. A lot of different routes on that graphic. He can run any route you give him, okay? A lot of guys are really limited in the things they can do. They're a killer going deep. They're a killer in the slant. They're a killer with the curl, with the comeback, whatever it is. Matthew Golden, based on this graphic, is a killer in pretty much every single route that he runs. And he's got the confidence as well. He knows it. He said, I got a lot in my game. I can play inside. I can play out. I can also take the top off. Whatever the team needs me to do, I'm definitely that guy that they need. He's not the only guy I got a lot of confidence in as well. That's Savion Williams. So why should you get excited about Savion Williams? Well, he ranked in the 98th percentile among FBS wide receivers for yards after the catch. He's absolutely like he's just unbelievable when he gets the football in his hands and he's in open space, incredibly hard to take down. He rushed for 322 yards on 49 carries with 6 touchdowns, averaging 6.5 yards per carry. So not only is he dynamic in the wide receiver room, but you could also put him in the backfield, and he's a phenomenal runner as well. And speaking of running with the football, he forced 43 missed tackles in 2024. That's the most of any player in FBS. And additionally, I think for them, they're going to the right place. If they were going somewhere like, let's say, who's a really bad team? There's so many. Cleveland, Carolina. Thank you, Jack. If they're going somewhere like Cleveland, Carolina, maybe Jacksonville, I don't know how much that they would have success, but the fact that they're landing in Green Bay, I think, is going to be wonderful for their development. They're going to a place that has an offensive head coach, so they're being led by an offensive mind that thinks offense first, that knows how to run a successful offensive system. They're going into an offense that's elite when it comes to rushing the football because of Josh Jacobs. And you might be wondering, how does that mean wide receivers are going to excel? Well, it means there's less pressure on them. There's less attention on them because Green Bay's rush offense is debatably the thing they do best. So that's what defenses are most likely going to prepare for more and to face first. They're going to a great quarterback in Jordan Love. Sure, he took a little bit of a regression in 2024, but he also was dealing with injuries for the entirety of the year, and he never had a wide receiver one on this roster. And also a place with a really solid offensive line. Okay, you got a lot of really good pieces on that line. There's a little bit of a shifting around over the offseason. Myers leaving, Jenkins going to center, hopefully. Aaron Banks coming in at left guard. We still don't know what Jordan Morgan's going to pan out to. There still will be things to figure out, but overall, it's still a really good group, okay? And because of all those reasons, I just can't help but believe that those two wide receivers in this offense with this team are going to absolutely ball out. So I know it's May. Okay, but I thought it might be fun to do a little bit of stat projections. Just in case you didn't believe me that I feel like they're going to have great seasons here, I'm going to prove it to you right now. I think 72 catches for Golden, 814 yards, 11.3 yards a catch, and 6 touchdowns. Again, I would not be shocked if he did more than this, but still 814 yards for a rookie is a phenomenal season. Let's talk about Savion Williams. I did his by touches and total yards because I'm just combining them because he's going to have a lot of receptions. I think he's going to have a lot of carries as well. 71 touches, 688 total yards. That's 9.7 yards per touch. The average is a little bit lower because you got to factor in carries there as well. I think he finds pay dirt 4 times. Whether that's 3 times through the air, 1 on the ground, 2 and 2, 4 and 0. I don't care what it is. I think he's going to score the football 4 different times. Let's get the crystal balls out. Predict their stat lines in the comment section down below. I did yards, average, receptions or touches, and touchdowns. You let me know down below. Make sure you guys are following me on Twitter. I cover the Packers over there on a more hourly basis than we do right here on YouTube. We give you a video a day, but I'm on Twitter all day long at Joey Petersen 8. You can find me on Instagram as well at Joey Petersen 8. Same handle, same spelling, both of those platforms. And make sure you guys are subscribed, okay? If you're still hanging out with us, still watching all the way to the end of this video, 10 and a half minutes later, it's obvious that you enjoyed it, so lock us in right now by subscribing.